One of the rare joys of being imprisoned in this vault, aside from the fond memories of covering the land in violence and fear, is the chance to discover old movies that I know nothing about. In this day and age, it's ridiculously easy to research a movie thoroughly before you watch even a second of it. But there's a simple sense of fun to be found in just rolling the dice and jumping into a story with no preconceptions. Such is the case with Wrath of the Ninja, the Yotoden Movie, an anime film from 1989. It made its way into my archives some months ago, but I haven't gotten around to watching it until now. I'd say it's high time I give it a look and determine its quality for myself firsthand. The story is set in 1580, a time of war for Japan. Lord Oda Nobunaga has sent armies of soldiers, ninjas, and monsters throughout the land to seize power and crush those who would stand in his way. And let's be honest, haven't we all tried to do that at one time or another? The only hope for stopping Nobunaga lies with the warriors of three ninja schools: Ayame of the Kasumi clan, Sakon the Whirlwind of the Hyuga clan, and Ryoma Kogure of the Hagakure clan. The trio must awaken and unite the power of three sacred weapons passed down through their clans to eradicate Nobunaga and his monsters. But the mystical blades require a clear focus and strong will to be used properly, and the greatest conflict facing each of the three fighters may be that which lies within. It is good. Not what I would call spectacular, but it is plenty entertaining. The presentation is solid, to be sure. The traditional animation brings bold characters and vivid environments to life, and it provides that sense of texture that I always love to see in older works. Heroes and villains alike have unique, striking designs, and backgrounds have a portrait-like feel to them. The aesthetic of 1980s anime is strong here, as evidenced by the rounded, mostly realistic body proportions. I actually haven't seen much anime from that decade, so it was a pleasant introduction. And the animation quality is consistently impressive throughout the film, with motion remaining fluid in the colorful and bloody action sequences. The soundtrack was of similar high quality, for the most part. The music was generally successful in setting the appropriate mood, but one specific track occasionally featured strange, pseudo-synth electronic notes that didn't quite suit the tone of the action scenes. It doesn't impact the overall quality too harshly, but it is hard to ignore once you notice it. The story itself is simple and straightforward enough, maybe a little too much so. Tales of controlling legendary weapons to defeat monstrous forces are fairly commonplace, and the villain's objective doesn't extend past seizing absolute power in as destructive a means possible. Sure, it's a relatable motivation, but the lack of complexity doesn't make it too gripping. And the brisk pacing doesn't do the movie many favors. 88 minutes is a convenient runtime, but we don't get to spend enough time with supporting characters for their passings to carry enough weight. Time skips with exposition dumps move the story along, but I get the sense that we're missing out on extra details that would help flesh everything out. And revelations dropped near the end feel abrupt and contrived rather than shocking. It would probably help if the movie actually told the whole story. I did a little bit of research after watching this, and learned that the original work was a series of OVAs that were trimmed down for the sake of a more palatable runtime. I may be fortunate enough to acquire the complete saga in the future, but I'll have to make do with the truncated version for the time being. As it is, the real substance of the story is found in the development of the three leads. Ryoma seems to have the most consistent character of the trio. He's a capable fighter and a boisterous, sociable companion. He's also driven by a strong sense of responsibility throughout the movie. He's shown to be dutiful to his immediate family and his clan as a whole, and he carries the memory of his lost loved ones with him all the way to the end. Sakon the Whirlwind, in contrast, only acts out of responsibility for his own well-being. He's not about to risk his life in what he sees as a losing war, and he's certainly not interested in doing so for something as abstractly defined as fate. In the end, though, it's his sense of closeness to his companions, and Ayame in particular, that convinces him to join them in the final battle. Of the main characters, Ayame's personal arc seems to be the focal point of the story. She's the most visibly distraught over the casualties of the war, and witnessing so many has given her a serious case of survivor's guilt. She may be fighting to avenge her family and bring an end to the slaughter, but there are signs that she's none too concerned about losing her life in the process. Fortunately, it's the influence of her friends and allies, especially the lengths Sakon goes to in order to protect her, that push her to seek a life beyond the battles. The subtitled version. Definitely the subtitled version. The story is decidedly Japanese in nature, with plenty of historical and cultural references, so it goes without saying that the original language already feels more natural. And even outside of that, the overall quality is just better. The line reads of the English dub are pretty wooden most of the time, and they fail to convey emotion as effectively as the Japanese dialogue. The quality of the end product thus ranges from serviceable to borderline laughable. To be fair, there were plenty of anime films that received good English dubs in the 1990s. This one just happens to be of the other variety. Now, if you're the type who finds a certain unique charm in old, awkward English dubs, then I'm certainly not about to ruin your fun. But as a matter of objective quality, the Japanese audio is the clear choice to make. Wrath of the Ninja, the Yotoden movie, was released in English on VHS and DVD back in the 90s. And while those copies have long since gone out of print, they are easy to find at affordable prices through online retailers. Now, I wouldn't consider the movie essential for your shelf. I'm actually hoping to unearth a copy of the complete saga so I can get the whole story someday. But as it is, this title does provide solid action and entertainment with some quality animation and a convenient runtime. Thank you for joining me in this brief look into the archives of my vault. If this story interests you, please feel free to like this video and to comment on what you enjoy about it. And if you would be kind enough to share this video, it will not only help my channel to grow, which I appreciate, but it will bring more attention to these older or lesser known works.